Oh my goodness. I just went to New Mexico and I discovered a wetlands area that I'd never been to before. And while I was there, I saw some herons and various genres of duck, which is super surprising since it's late autumn. However, one of the most magical creatures that I saw there was SandHill Crane. And I want to capture some of that medicine. I was there in late autumn and it was very brown. There were mountains. And then there was also a lake. And there was a very amazing sky. It had lots of clouds in it. And that was reflected in the waters. Beautiful. It was late autumn, so there was an element of endings very present. And there was a road that I drove on along the lake into the desert. And then the sky, as I was driving, was raining. And I allowed my eyes to rain with some tears as I processed feelings and emotions, honoring the ending of my apprenticeship, an ending of another layer of my youth. My life is shifting. I'm really striving to stay open. Stay open to beauty and possibility. Just 'cause I'm aging doesn't mean I'm dead yet. Ooh. And 'cause I am gonna die one day, I call on my ancestors that have walked already that way. There are spirit angels that have been through that transition. There are energies of expansion and possibility and light and dimensions I am not aware of, and I open up to that to be a guiding force. I do. All right, well, that feels like a good way to just shift the white paper. I have called in the landscape, the skyscape, the scene. Let's see where this goes next. I printed up some pictures of SandHill Crane. When I was at the wetlands, I saw two that were dancing in a field. And then I heard a group flying overhead with their amazing vocalization, their amazing call. It felt like such an amazing treat to see these creatures while I was there. I did not know that they would be in the area. I was under the impression pretty much all of the birds had migrated out of the area. Then to find out that these ancient totems of migratory splendor, and they dance and they sing. These are really spectacular birds, that they would greet me as I set out on this road trip through New Mexico to honor the completion of my MiddleWorld Apprenticeship. It has been quite a journey. This was also a labyrinth that I walk at least once or twice a year when I am in New Mexico, and it had some lessons to give me. And it was raining and mudding, so I walked it barefoot in the mud. That's a metaphor for life. Look at that beautiful red cap that the SandHill has. So I am going to bring this energy alive into my art journal. See where that leads. All right. I'm going to glue my labyrinth down, this journey of life that I migrate and spiral through. Cranes migrate, and I migrate along the spiral journey of life. And I cut these down, and I'm putting them over here because they travel between water and earth and sky. And I'm gonna put them over here in this elemental sacred center. SandHill Cranes. I'm not gonna glue them all the way down. I'm gonna leave a little bit of space around them because I might want to layer some stuff, but at least commits them. They are landed. And then I'm gonna glue this guy down in the corner and have him overlooking. Once again, I'm gonna leave a little bit of space just in case I want to layer. Lovely. All right. Before I start getting much further on this page, I want to add a little bit more color to the sky. I have some watercolors, and I want to just use this to add a little bit more coverage to the page. Since it was raining while I was on the trip, I like the idea of using watercolors on this page as well to bring in that water element. It doesn't have to be precise, it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be anything really, but it is nice to fill in those white spaces with another art medium. All right, I have these like oil pastel-y things, and I'm gonna paint these on to the wet. See what happens here. That's kind of cool. I think I'm gonna wet the paper just a tad bit more. Okay, baby. And let's just, oh, that's nice. That feels good in my hand too. Feels like this wet wax gliding over the paper and smearing so beautifully in the process. Nice, I like that. That's lovely. I glued this image down of SandHill Crane. Put a title on my page and added some aspects of SandHill Crane appearance. If SandHill Crane shows up, it usually means you're crossing a threshold, and ceremony is needed to anchor your next moves. I have these cutouts along with a message from SandHill Crane. Moving into the migrations over times and cycles with invocations to remember. SandHill Crane is calling for community, for shared leadership, to bring ceremony back into my life, to live joy, and to be in the grace of my evolution. I really love how this page came together. It's such a lovely page that I can turn to and reconnect with and remember lessons of my evolution.